Attention, Twitter staff. Please give me your full attention. Those of you who remain survived the Twitter office lockdown. Congratulations. At Twitter, we must strive for continued excellence. And so now, you will be put to the test once more. You all know the game, red light, green light. You have 5 minutes to reach the red line. Begin. Resignation accepted.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I'm absolutely thrilled to be back in studio. There is a metric ton of news to get through today. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please do click that subscribe button down below. We've got some spicy topics today that I hope will earn your subscription. Now, firstly, we have a absolute bloodbath at Twitter again. Including the firings of people who are in charge of important product rollouts like Twitter Blue. The executive that famously slept on the floor at Twitter gets fired. And interestingly, Elon Musk doesn't seem to care about it. I'm starting to, Twitter has actually become, it's weird. I don't know if it's like this for you or not. Certainly has maybe something to do with all the weird drama over the past couple of months that I've been involved in and will not be getting involved in again for quite some time. Twitter has like gotten so hostile and just kind of like a net negative lately. Everyone's angry all the time, but I mean, that's kind of always how it was. But maybe that's because that's who I'm interacting with and then I'm seeing them people. But, I'm starting to think that Twitter is, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, but there's probably a cause for concern. Have a good Sunday. Elon Musk posts tweet hours after firing 200 more Twitter staff from the workforce to cut the workforce to less than 2,000. This is a place that had, 8,000 or so employees when he bought it. As top lieutenant who led the Twitter blue tick relaunch and slept on the office floor is among those who were fired. I think it's safe to say that the Twitter Blue launch was half-baked. I still don't think they should have sold the blue check mark. As for me, I've decided that, there's just not enough value there anymore, and I think I'm going to leave the Twitter Blue program, partly also because, people still seem to be able to manipulate the platform to get people suspended off Twitter. And there's a lot of just value that hasn't been delivered in terms of, the $11 or $9 a month or whatever it is. Twitter's laid off another 200 employees, around 10% of remaining workforce in this latest round of cuts since Elon took over in late October. On Sunday, Musk tweeted, "Hope you all have a good Sunday, first day of the rest of your life." Saturday's cuts targeted product managers, data scientists, and engineers, and include product manager and Musk devotee Esther Crawford, who led the launch of the paid subscription service Twitter Blue. Crawford famously backed Musk's extremely hardcore Twitter 2.0 culture when first took over, and was pictured on the office floor in a sleeping bag with a sleeping mask back in November of 2022. The Twitter user Richard Hart responded to Musk posts saying, except for those that today was their last, well, it's not the last day of the rest of their life. A layoff is not that big a deal, especially in tech, I suppose, although there's many people in tech that continue to think that the bottom is never going to fall out. The layoffs impacted the largest number of people at the company since half the company was laid off back in November. Employees discovered they were set to lose their jobs after they found themselves unable to log in to their emails and work computers. Musk told employees during a meeting in late November that he planned no more plans for staff layoffs were being made. Now, this does This sort of thing is, a harsh reality, but also that's why you never say there will be no more layoffs. This is obviously something that is going to crush morale. And you also see, at the time, Musk defended the decision to fire 3,700 people, saying there's no choice when the company is losing $4 million a day. He defended the decision, saying that all those who were fired were offered 3-month severance, 50% more than what is legally required. But staff suspected another wave of cuts was coming this month after they suddenly lost access to their Slack channels last week. On Saturday night, some found they had been logged out of their emails and laptops. The latest cuts hit product managers, including Crawford, as well as data scientists and engineers who worked on machine learning and site reliability, according to the New York Times. Staff took to the anonymous platform for verified workers to detail the cuts as they unfolded this weekend. Quote, people receive email at 2 a.m. on Saturday and access cut off immediately. This will go down as one of the most extreme layoffs in the entire corporate history, read a post on Blind. The poster claimed the layoffs hit project management department the hardest and were spread across human relations, sales and marketing, engineering, and finance. Crawford, who said before joining Twitter, founded a small screen sharing of the video chat app called Squad, which Twitter acquired back in 2020, was among those laid off. Haladur Thorleifsson, who created Design Studio, was also laid off. Senior project manager said he found out about the layoffs after being locked out of his email account. The dismal dismissal of much of the product team has led many to speculate that Musk is preparing to bring in entirely new teams. Well, I think that that's probably a smart idea at this point. Twitter Blue, I think, the launch, it just seems so rushed. And while editing tweets is a nice feature, the longer posts, that's a nice feature. The video thing really hasn't taken off. I used to post long form videos on Twitter, and it didn't really seem to affect my reach. If that got fixed, that would be something. Musk flagged changes in November to turn Twitter into a more hardcore work environment. The billionaire has been shrewd and direct about the financial turmoil. You see, during today's launch of Twitter Blue, the San Francisco team experienced 2 literal fire drills, all this kind of stuff. Twitter shut off its internal Slack, and now, quote, everybody's barely working. Jira went down, Slack's gone, site performance is degraded. What's next? This is from Verge, which of course hates Elon Musk. Today, let's check out Elon Musk's Twitter, where sudden software outages, another dubious transparency effort, has left the company's remaining workers more beleaguered than usual. On Wednesday, Twitter employees had the tech equivalent of a snow day. The company's Slack instance was down for, quote, routine maintenance, they were told, and the company was implementing a deployment freeze as a result. The same day, Jira, a tool Twitter uses to track everything from progress on features and updates and regulatory compliance, also stopped working. With no way to chat, no code to ship, most engineers took the days off. Jira access was restored on Thursday, but Platformer can now confirm that Slack wasn't down for routine maintenance. There is no such thing as routine maintenance. That's BS, a current Slack employee told us. This, as in so many other things, Twitter hasn't paid its Slack bill. But that's not why Slack went down. Someone at Twitter manually shut off access, we're told. Platformer was not able to learn the reason prior to publication, though the move suggests Musk may have turned against the communication app, or at least wants to see if Twitter can run without Slack. Well, what you aren't aware of is Slack banned libs of TikTok. So this could be something, that Elon is noticing and reacting to. I don't know what libs of TikTok use it for, but that was obviously an ideological ban, and I think, I suspect that perhaps Twitter or Elon may be making some sort of announcement about that soon, like, hey, I'm not going to support this software. Of course, The Verge failed to report on that part. Boy, my nose looks really burned on the camera. It's not that bad in real life. On Blind, the anonymous workplace chat app, the disappearance of such critical tools was met with a mixture of disbelief, frustration, and to a lesser extent, glee. We didn't pay our Slack bill, one employee wrote. Now everyone is barely working, penny wise, pound foolish. Another worker called the disappearance of Slack the proverbial final straw. Another worker called, so oddly enough, it's Slack deactivation that has pushed me to finally start applying to get out. Here's what I'm thinking. The rot was too deep. The rot was just simply too deep at Twitter to be saved. I think Elon probably thought, and I'm sure there are good people there. I just hope there is. So, Twitter files kind of indicate that isn't the case. But I would suspect almost the entire team's going to be gone now. That Elon's is probably done trying to save, the few good employees. And there just seems like, I mean, if you're like a good employee, are you whining about your company on some anonymous app? No, I don't think so. I think you should be, either working on your job or applying for other jobs. But if you're spending time complaining about your job, that's like the literal least active thing, productive thing you can do. After everyone was gone, I had no one to ask questions. When stuck, an employee who stayed on past the first round of layoffs wrote in blind. I used to search for, quote, error in messages in Slack and got help 99% of the time. Well, that sounds like maybe you're not maybe you should be more trained as an employee if you're literally Googling answers constantly at work. But I think what this really means is that Elon's going to just get rid of the rest of them. I think that's really the case here. There's going to be very few. And you see Esther Crawford here saying, the worst take you could have from watching me go all in on Twitter 2.0 is that my optimism or hard work was a mistake. Those who jeer and mock are necessarily on the sidelines and not in the arena. I'm deeply proud of the team for building through so much noise and chaos. I'd say pretty good. That's a pretty good way to handle getting fired. I think, though, at this point, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough to see. I should probably follow, see if anything else comes on. I don't think that there's really anything that Elon could save at Twitter. I think it's just basically the rot has gone too deep. And this is just another sign of it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. By the way, lots of ground to make up. So I will be live streaming tonight. So if you want to stop by around 5:30 Central, absolutely love to see you. Lots of news to talk about. And of course, if you haven't yet, I'm doing some A/B testing, split testing with design work on Coffee Brand Coffee. So if you haven't yet, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Promo code TheQuartering to save on your first order. I would absolutely love if you checked out the site, looked at some of the reviews, and considered using the promo code to try out some of our delicious roasted fresh on demand coffees, cold brews, K-Cups, organic teas, or cocoa. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. We'll talk to you again real soon.